The moment is now. Are you ready?
Let's play Armis. Alright, let's take a look at the setup. Okay, that looks good. Let's give that a shot. Alright, since the computer chose to switch board positions, I get to move first. Alrighty, let's see, we have 1, 2, 3. My opponent's vice president is in line to take my Marine, so I don't want that to happen. 1, 2, 3. If I put it here, if I put my Marine here, his Marine can take it there as well. If I put it here, it would be pretty safe. Let's see where his jet is. His jet is in that line, but there's no place for him to land. So I don't have too much to worry about, so I'll make that my first move. But I want to try to get my Coast Guard in as quickly as possible, and maybe even the aircraft carrier. Okay. Okay. Right now, this side of my opponent's setup zone is pretty weak. I have a couple of things that I can do. First thing is to move the child and advance towards the nuke, my opponent's nuke. That's the first thing. If by moving the child, my president threatens the vice president, so that would be actually a better move to do than to use my diplomat to advance towards the nuke. So right now, I'm going to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep it out of the range of his helicopter as well as his vice president. But now my president is threatening his vice president. Okay, so now I can take the nuke, and it looks like only my opponent's jet can take the child if it wanted to, which it probably won't, but that's an option for it. Now, while my opponent is loading up towards the eastern, the seaside region, I just want to make sure that I have proper coverage. He has 2 Marines in this area. So that means that this submarine is threatened by both Marines, and one, two, three, and this vice president is threatened only by one Marine, and this helicopter is also threatened by one Marine. So this Marine is covering all three on its own. This one is covering this one, so that this is double coverage from both sides. So for right now, that's all right. I can work with that. What I want to try to do is to work a little harder on the weak side. So I'm going to put the president and threaten the helicopter, and then try to bring the Army up as quickly as possible into the expanse area to try to make inroads in this direction before he starts to bring his president and army into the expanse. If I went here, his VP can move 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. So moving here would put it right in the direct line of fire, so I don't want to do that. I'll go here and then try to go around and try to get double coverage on one of his pieces if possible. I think I should have moved my Coast Guard to threaten his, let's see, yeah, I should have done that. I think I can do it now though. If I move the Coast Guard here, have to look out for his helicopter and jet. Yes, it's both are out of the flight path for either one of them. But if I go here, I'm now threatening both of his Marines, and at the same time I'm covered by both of my Marines. So at this point I'm asking for trouble that I can actually handle. Okay, that should be the end of that. Now the focus should shift back to the expanse area between his army and and president, and to a lesser degree his uh, helicopter and vice president. Now if I move my Marine in this area here, again trying to stay away from his helicopter and jet flight paths, then I can try to keep one of or both of these guys back a little bit to cover this reserve. And then I can use these guys, the helicopter, my helicopter and my vice president, to come around the eastern corridor and make inroads in this direction or from this direction. So if I go here, I'm out of the flight path of the helicopter and the flight path of the jet. But take a look at the mover, and what's between the mover, his mover, and me is the Coast Guard. So if I did that move, all he would have to do is to use his mover to push his mover onto the coastal waters and take my Marine. So that is not a good move for me. But if I go here, that's a better move for me. But and yes, that's a very, very good move, because if he attempts to use his mover to go here to push it in onto my Marine, then I can climb over both the Coast Guard as well as the mover and uh, capture his reserve. Okay, so now his army retreated to cover his reserve and also covering his president, mover, and Coast Guard. That's good. But remember, his army was covering his helicopter earlier. So now that it has retreated, it's no longer covering or providing the coverage that it was earlier for the helicopter. So I think I'll take advantage of that. Okay, so now the the jet has taken my president, and I really didn't see that, but I can come back from that. One, two, three, four, five. All right, the jet can't do anything to this uh, army where it stands. With my president here, it's out of range, or should I say, my opponent's VP is out of range of my. The VP was out of range of my president. I'm thinking if I should do a trade-off here. Yeah, I think I should. No, no. Wow. Hmm. Here's what I was thinking about doing. Using my president to go. Well, I couldn't do that anyway. All right, I was thinking about going here, but then I didn't know that I didn't see that the vice president would just be able to take it like that. So if I move my army out of the way, then the VP can make inroads coming down towards my reserve. So I don't think I want to do that. Um, I can use my, and this is probably a better likelihood. Let's see here. Right now, I only have the vice president under threat, which it can easily get out of. But I want to try to see if I can get both the vice president and the jet under threat at the same time, so that I can end up getting one of them, or so that the probability is greater that I get one of them. Okay, let's see here. All right, the army going over here, my opponent's army going over here, takes the double coverage off of the mover, and it would lend itself to have me do something to get a little bit closer to the army because it's not covered. So if I went here, again, his mover can push the Coast Guard into offensive action onto the coast and take my Marine. But if I went here, then his army would be under threat. 1, 2, 3, but his reserve would be free. That's a thought. And then it gets me a little bit further away from the mover and the possibility of getting captured by that Coast Guard. So that's a thought to put it here. But let's see if I can get a better move out of this. I can capture his VP right now, and if I do that, then his jet will take my army. 1, 2, 3, 4, and go here, and then I have nothing to take it. So I don't want to do that. I want to try to get one of them clean. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so I can take his VP, but he can't take my president because he's out of range. So either he moves it, probably will move it over here so that there's double coverage. Yeah, some level of double coverage. And then at the same time, there's a threat onto my child, which I'm not too terribly worried about, because he will lose his diplomat and religion over it, which could probably benefit him more than to but it would benefit him more to have it than to lose them. Okay, I'm more comfortable with that. Now I have both of these under threat with my army, and if he should bring this back down here, then I will likely take it with my president, and then if he flies over, then I can use my army to take his I can go with that. Well, hold on a second. If I go here, that stretches it out a little bit further, but it still works. So this is almost the same move as the other one, except for it stretches it out a little bit. Alright, good. Now I'm in a position where I can take his VP with my army. But I'm thinking whether or not I should use my president to come here. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I use the president to take the jet, the VP will take that, and then the army will take that. So it is better for me to use the army to take the VP. Again, that's a clean capture. So it should be, or I should not have to worry that there's another piece that's going to capture my piece. if that jet doesn't move, then there's a great likelihood that I will capture that jet. But my main focus was to go for that reserve, and my opponent read that properly, because I would have gone here, and then if there was nothing that covered that path, then after going here, then I would end up taking the jet. So since it anticipated my move, I'll just take the jet right off. Okay, so now I want to try to bait either the president or the army to come out of a position. Well, okay, let's see here. Alright, usually I like to use other pieces as bait other than my marine, but in this case, this is if I use the president first, I guess I can still do it. Yeah, I can use the president first as the bait. The army comes in, takes the president, 1, 2, 3, and go here, and then I should be safe in that position. And if so, then the next move I make should end the game. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.
Let the whole world see us through your eyes. Armis is why you